only me, realising that I haven't done a garden update for more than 2 weeks, so thought I would do one. It's the middle of the day here, lunchtime, so we will probably hear builders and neighbours, and it won't be quite as tranquil as it usually is. I'm dependent on my husband being behind the cameras, and he's been quite busy over the last few weeks. Anyway, an update on how the garden is. Now, you may know that I enjoy watching something called Gardener's World. It's a BBC programme, and a few weeks ago one of the presenters on there, called Carol, talked you through how to do cuttings. And I thought that was really interesting because I'm not going to garden centres at the moment, and I needed some more lavender plants for the garden, and I was looking for a climbing plant, so I decided to take some cuttings of the evergreen honeysuckle and the lavender, and here are the fruits of my labour so far. They haven't died yet. I'm taking this as a good thing. So I'm just keeping them well watered in their pots. We'll see what happens. They might grow, they might die, but I haven't lost anything if they don't take and root. So we'll see what happens with those. The honeysuckle is still out on our arch, which is coming on really nicely. Our hedge, I'm not sure what plant that is. You know me, I don't know what half these plants are, but that's bushing out and growing quite nicely along our trellis. Rhubarb still isn't doing much. Still don't know why, but their mother-in-law's rhubarb isn't doing particularly great either. Not many sticks coming off that to eat, but that's okay. Coming on through, I've made a few changes. I've moved some plants around, so you can probably see the vista up the garden. It's not looking too bad. So my lavender are starting to bush out quite nicely. Now, I'm obsessed with the birds and feeding the birds, and they get their coconut fat feeder thingies, but when they've pecked all the fat out, obviously it's left with the coconut, so I'm just putting them in the ground, and they're filling up naturally with rainwater, and the birds are enjoying those as a bit of a drinking pot. So that's why that's sitting there. That will eventually get covered by the lavender as it grows. I moved one of these down from further in this bed, so they're not looking particularly great, but I know next year when they're growing from the start, they will grow nicely straight up. The alliums are still here. I keep pulling them, but they're not coming away. So I'm not going to cut them down just yet, because even though they're dried and over, they still look quite nice, I think. We've got self-seeded sunflowers. Not surprising, given that the bird feeder is directly above this spot. And again, I'm not into perfectly manicured gardens, so I'm quite happy to let them just do their thing. They're not getting in the way of any of the other plants. We've got good crops coming off of our raspberry plants. My husband has fruit with his muesli every morning, so he's coming out here and picking whatever is on the raspberry plants, which is nice. Starting to get a few tomatoes coming on the tomato plants. I think the tomato plants on the other side of the garden are bigger because they get more sun during the day, as is the raspberry plant. And I've got a feeling that's a big weed growing up amongst the raspberry plants. I don't know, but I'm going to leave it for a bit, and then I'll cut it back. No harm done. We have one solitary apple coming on our wedding tree. It does look a bit sad and lonely. We did say earlier that there's no apples on the wedding tree, but no, there's one. So we'll see what that does this year. Hopefully it's getting all the goodness from the tree instead of having to share it. The lilies. So I got these a few weeks ago. These are really coming up lovely, and the smell is actually really nice and strong. This, I can't remember the name of it. I'd recognise it if you told me. This is looking a little sorry. That's because I've moved this. So again, next year it will go straight up like it did in its previous position, but because I've moved it, it's kind of looking a bit bedraggled, but that's okay. I'm not worried about that. We've got these coming out, and again, I can't remember what the name of these are. Oops, sunflowers in the way. Beautiful orange fronds on them. Now these, I was given 1 or 2 plants from a friend, and literally in the space of 2-3 years, they're really bushing out. So I'm really looking forward over the years. Even now, it's already looking like a nice group of plants there, with the lovely delicate flowers coming on them. Conference pears coming on really nicely. We are going to have to trim this tree back at the end of the season because it is looking very straggly now. Yeah, really excited about that coming on. We've had lots of rain, which has been good. Lavender, as I predicted, has come up nice and high. Oh look, there's a bit of bindweed that needs pulling off. But again, this is being nicely held in place by the box hedge at the bottom. That's part of the reason why I put it there, because otherwise that became rather spread-eagled, I think the phrase would be. But again, that's coming, yeah, that smells lovely. It's smelling really, really nice. The buddleia. Oh, the bees and the butterflies are loving it. Understandably, I love it too. And there are so many flower heads on it. I chop it back to about here every year. Every year it's been coming up and getting stronger and having more on them. So really excited to see that coming up for a bit of colour. Coming on through, we've got some more of the delicate reddy orange coming here, not quite coming out yet. We'll see what happens there, because I'm hoping that will fill that space there. I moved the rhododendron, the mini rhododendron, to this spot. It gets sun part of the day, as you can see, but then later on in the day it will get shade. So I'm hoping maybe it'll be happier in that spot. Again, it's the right plant in the right place that really matters. We've got our cell shade in place to protect the pond. The pond is looking quite good, although there aren't any lilies out today, which is unusual. But plenty of cover for the fish and the frogs. Lots of frogs hanging around. And you'll notice I've put another coconut down here as a watering bowl for the birds. The birds love hopping around down here. There are some weeds there, but I'm not going to worry about them. Grapevine, going a little crazy. In fact, I can't even see the bunches. Where are the bunches? Nope, they're so well hidden, I can't even see the bunches that were starting to form. Nope, maybe we'll see them next time. I have a feeling, I might be wrong, but I think this might be an agapanthus, a white one. Didn't realise I'd got that there, but again, we'll see what comes up. Now, that big straggly thing that was in the earlier bed by the wedding tree used to be here. But then I decided to put this plant in, which hasn't really found its happy spot in the garden yet. And that, which again, I'm not sure what that is. This one seems to be quite happy here because it is getting some new growth on it. So again, I'll leave it there for a year, see what it does. Got some more lavender in this bed now. I had a clear out here. Not sure what these are. I got them from the supermarket, but 3 of those will hopefully spread out and create a bit of ground cover, so they're coming on well. Some more of these fronds in a patch here, which I'm hoping will fill out this patch. I need to figure out a plant to go here, not quite sure what yet. The magnolia has loved all of the sun and the rain that we've had, because I think it's grown quite a bit in the last few months. It's definitely taken over that space, which is great. The hedge that my husband trimmed back behind the pond is that all the red bits that you can see is new growth. So that seems to be quite happy, having had a short back and sides. We haven't got the water fountain on yet on the pond. Got a slight issue with the electrics, so we're sorting that out. This bird feeder that I bought, I actually bought it for my mother-in-law, but she didn't want it. But I am thoroughly enjoying having this on the table and chairs here. We've moved around because we lent these to my mother-in-law at the beginning of lockdown, but she's bought her own garden furniture now. So we had this back. It's out here. It's in front of my office. So when I have my office doors open, I can see the birds coming down. So we've got a robin that loves coming down here, and we've got blackbirds, and I saw pigeons having a domestic. There were 3 of them on different sides of it, and they absolutely love it, and I love being able to watch them from my desk. The cats quite enjoy watching them as well. Thankfully, touch wood, they haven't gone from them yet. And then finally, in behind here is a plant that I moved from next to the pond, which was a little bit overpowering by the pond. Again, it's gone a bit bedraggled, I think because I've moved it, but next year when it's growing and staying in the same place, it will go much more upright. So hopefully it will be happier. We'll see. You know, again, gardening isn't an exact science. We just need to make sure the plants find their happy spot. So there's still colour in the garden. There are still things that are building to their crescendo in terms of coming into full bloom, and it's amazing what can happen in just a matter of a few weeks. So that's the update for now. I will aim to do another one in the next couple of weeks, and we'll see what's changed, and I shall see you then. Okay, thanks for watching and see you soon. Take care.